All right, y'all, listen to me. I'm back and I'm in here. We have the biggest flops in WWE history. Show me some flops, man. I'm sweating in this room. It's hot. I can't lie. But I'm trying to get this recording done. So let's get to it. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. I love y'all.
Lesnar, there are dozens of WWE wrestlers who were supposed to be the next big thing, but couldn't live up to the hype. In this video, we're looking at every WWE wrestler who was massively hyped but failed. Kicking things off with someone who looked like the second coming of Batista. It's no secret
Mason
that
Ryan.
WWE loves a monster. Give Vince McMahon a massive guy with a muscular physique, and he'll reach for his checkbook before the guy even laces up his boots.
They spitting right now. They telling the truth.
Barry Griffiths and turned him into Mason Ryan. The moment he walked through the curtain on the January 17th, 2011 episode of Raw, standing next to CM Punk in the new Nexus, fans did a double take. The guy looked like Batista had been put through a photocopier and made 10%
Man,
more
listen. Listen. That man looked a little bit like Batista, but people went overboard with it. It wasn't that crazy.
Thought they had their next monster heel, but the problem was obvious within weeks.
That man had he had no charisma or nothing.
The charisma
bro.
wasn't there, the mic work wasn't there, and once you got past the sheer intimidation of his frame, there wasn't a lot holding the act together. Vince kept him on the main roster through 2011, but booking him became a puzzle nobody could solve. They couldn't turn him babyface because he couldn't connect with crowds. They couldn't push him as a monster heel because his in-ring work didn't back up his look. He got bounced back to NXT in 2013, used in battle
that man
royals
gear
and
looks so
matches,
trash,
and was
bro.
quietly released in April 2014.
Then he grew out the ponytail
on
like
NXT. Not exactly the WrestleMania main event Vince had imagined. After his release, Ryan wrestled on the independent circuit briefly before hanging it up for good in late.
Good for him. I didn't even know that he did an indie run. So good for him.
WWE apparently kept tabs on him and brokered a call that landed him a gig with Cirque du Soleil, where he became the chief archer in their Las Vegas stage show in 2016. Mason Ryan never became the next big thing, but by any measure, the man landed on his feet and built a stable, peaceful life outside the ring. But speaking of wrestlers who were supposed to be the next big thing, almost nobody in modern WWE carried more hype on their debut night than Sin Cara.
No, my boy Mystico.
WWE held a press conference in Mexico City to announce the signing of Mystico, arguably the biggest lucha libre star in the world. He was so popular in Mexico that fans compared him to Rey Mysterio. CMLL had made comic books with him as a superhero. Triple H pushed hard to bring him in, and the company poured resources into the debut. Elaborate vignettes, a brand new name, and a custom blue and gold lighting rig that...
I ain't even gotta say nothing about Mystico now. Y'all know that boy is elite. You know, he just wasn't fit for the Fed, bro. Everybody not fit for the Fed. That's all it is.
Bathed the arena every time he made his entrance. On paper, he was supposed to be the next big foreign megastar, but in practice, it became one of the biggest flops in WWE history. Mystico skipped developmental entirely and went straight to the main roster, and the collision between Lucha Libre...
That was the crazy part too, because, bro, I'm a young kid seeing Sin Cara, and everybody was, you know, of course, comparing him to Rey Mysterio just like off the look. But, bro, I'm a young kid seeing Sin Cara, and he just, like, popped up on WWE. This man was not... Maybe that's the reason why he was botching like that, bro. But this man botched his whole career, so I'm not even gonna put it on that, bro.
And the WWE wrestling style produced a botch reel that the internet never forgot. Moves that looked flawless in Arena Mexico.
If y'all want to see that Sin Cara botch highlight video, let me know.
Within weeks, WWE was quietly editing matches in post-production to hide the mistakes. Then came a wellness policy suspension, then the injuries, and then the creative decision to introduce
I did not know he had a wellness violation,
which only confused casual fans and diluted whatever mystique the character had left. He never learned English, which made it nearly impossible for him to connect with audiences beyond his entrance. By late 2013, Mystico quietly stopped wearing the mask, Hunico stepped back in, and the original Sin Cara experiment was over. He was gone from WWE by January 2014. Back in Mexico, however, the story has a completely different ending. Returned to CMLL as Caristico, Mystico found his footing again. Today, he is one of the biggest active draws in Lucha Libre, regularly selling out Arena Mexico, and even appearing in AEW. What What WWE couldn't make work, CMLL proved was never broken. But while Sin Cara was supposed to be the next Rey Mysterio, this next wrestler was supposed to replace The Undertaker.
Man.
Kevin
Kevin
spent years in
Thorn.
developmental building toward his main roster debut, and the character he and Dusty Rhodes had crafted was genuinely compelling. A white-robed religious zealot draped head to toe in immaculate white who believed it was his divine mission to cleanse the sinners of WWE. The whole thing was being positioned as a long-term foil for The Undertaker, with a WrestleMania confrontation as the endgame. Fertig later confirmed he spent thousands of dollars of his own money on white suits, tracksuits, and gear just to live the gimmick around the clock. He bought into the character completely, but the fans and management...
See, these are the guys that we need in the Fed, bro. That's gonna really take it seriously, man. It's too bad, bro. It's too bad for Mordecai, man.
Did not. He debuted on SmackDown in May 2004, and his push lasted about 2 months. A backstage incident, a bar fight, and resulting legal complications spooked management, and the Mordecai...
Wow. Is the sound not working?
In 2005. WWE gave him one more shot, bringing him back in 2006 on the relaunched ECW
so now he's
as
Kevin
Kevin
Thorn,
Thorn, a vampire character that got some traction before it fizzled out. He was released again in 2009. This time,
they screwed this dude twice, bro.
And by his own admission,
they screwed him twice with 2
terrible
gimmicks.
Years of bitterness strapped to his back. That resentment festered for a long time. But in 2025, something shifted. Fertig, who had been sliding toward full-blown alcoholism, made a phone call to WWE. The company put him on a plane to Tampa within 6 hours and enrolled him in their rehab program. He emerged sober, healthy, and, for the first time in a decade and a half, without the rage. He told the Velvet Ropes podcast that as much as he'd hated them, they saved his life. These days, Fertig works as a real estate agent in the Indianapolis area, appears at conventions, and credits WWE with giving him a second chance he didn't feel he deserved. But while Mordecai barely lasted 2 months, this
Mordecai,
the entire machine behind him,
Lex Luger, Lex Express, man.
In the summer of 1993, WWE had just lost Hulk Hogan to WCW and needed a new American hero. Lex Luger stepped up, body-slammed Yokozuna on the deck of the USS Intrepid on July 4th, climbed aboard a bus called the Lex Express, and toured the country as the people's chosen champion.
He just didn't have the charisma back then,
fans never truly connected with his character the way they did with Hogan. He won the 1994 Royal Rumble, co-won it actually, sharing the moment with Bret Hart in the only time.
If you ask me, his WCW days are better, but he still never really just, like, he wasn't a crowd guy. Everybody's not a crowd guy, man.
Rumble finish in history. That should have been the start of something special. Instead, WrestleMania 10 saw Luger come up short against Yokozuna, and Bret Hart took the title.
And it was better wrestlers,
almost immediately. By August 1995, Luger had jumped to WCW in a move so secret even Vince McMahon didn't know it was coming. He'd appeared on WWE TV one week, then showed up on Nitro the next. He had genuine success in WCW, winning the World Heavyweight Championship twice, but the Monday Night Wars era was chaotic. Creative fell apart near the end, and when WWE bought WCW in 2001, Luger's mainstream career was effectively finished. What followed were hard years. A 2007 spinal cord injury left him in a wheelchair, but Luger never disappeared entirely. He began working with WWE's wellness program as a counselor, guiding younger talent through the same traps he'd fallen into. Then, in February 2025, Diamond Dallas Page posted a video of Luger standing up from his wheelchair on his own for the first time. 2 months later, on April 18th, Lex Luger walked to the podium at his Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
That boy Luger.
A complicated story that nobody quite expected, but everybody was glad to see. But while Luger failed in the 90s, Vince tried to run another all-American experiment in 2010 that was even more catastrophic. Jack Swagger's WWE story is a perfect case study in a push that arrived too early and
this must have been like when he was on ECW. That is a nasty fit. Is this Jack Swagger or Schnitzky?
Jack Swagger.
Look at that. Look at this fit on Jack Swagger. Goodness.
WWE story is a perfect case study in a push that arrived too early and evaporated too fast. He won the ECW championship shortly after debuting, which was fine. But then in 2010, he won Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 26 and cashed in on Chris Jericho to become World Heavyweight Champion. And the crowd barely reacted. The championship reign went nowhere. and by the time creative figured out what to do with him, he was already trending back down the card. The All-American run with Zeb Coulter and
I hate it.
Cesaro
I
in
did not like the
2013
Zeb
was
Coulter
fun,
one.
but then he got arrested for DUI and marijuana
Alright,
possession.
like,
The push vanished overnight. He never sniffed the main event again.
he's just the most like
released him in
so
2017.
wrestler
After
ever,
that,
bro.
Swagger went to Bellator and went 3-0-1, then jumped to Tony Khan's AEW as a founding member of Chris Jericho's Inner Circle. But AEW wound down for him by mid-2024, and after a handful of indie dates, Jack Swagger hung up his boots for good in August 2025.
Dang, I didn't know that he
and
officially
announced he was
retired,
running
though.
a freight trucking company out of Tampa, Florida. As of 2026, Jake Hager is a businessman and a dad home in Tampa with his kids.
Right, now
However,
he's on the slap
Swagger isn't
thing.
the only amateur wrestler who flopped. Every few years, WWE
Gable
signs an elite
Steveson,
amateur athlete
man.
with a sky-high ceiling and zero professional wrestling experience.
That boy, I do not want to see that boy Gable Steveson in a dark alley. He might beat my ass. That boy is doing it in the UFC right now, y'all.
In hopes of recapturing Kurt Angle's magic. Gable Steveson was the latest experiment and the most expensive failure in recent memory. Steveson won Olympic gold at Tokyo 2020 in freestyle wrestling at 21 years old, the youngest American super heavyweight ever to do so. He was a two-time NCAA national champion, five-time All-American at Minnesota. When WWE signed him in September 2021, it was a massive deal, with a lucrative arrangement that let him return to college wrestling simultaneously. The plan
They thought
was to
that boy was
build
gonna be
him
the next
slowly,
Kurt Angle,
develop a
man.
character, and make him the next crossover star. But then, reality set in. Steveson spent years in NXT without generating much traction. His charisma in interviews was flat.
I remember this
in-ring
guy.
development didn't match the hype. By May 2024, he was
He
quietly
definitely had
released alongside several
look.
other NXT
He had a
cuts.
look.
His one official televised WWE match had come and gone without leaving a mark. But what followed was genuinely bizarre. He signed a 3-year NFL deal with the Buffalo Bills in May 2024, despite never
I
having
do not
played a
remember
single
that.
down of football in his life. He was released before the season started.
Dang.
Then he shifted to MMA,
Okay, yeah,
where
I
his
know
natural
this.
wrestling dominance has translated immediately. He went undefeated in his early fights, finishing all opponents in the first round, and just
Ooh.
signed a multi-match deal with UFC. The path from Olympic gold to WWE flop to NFL to UFC is one of the strangest sports stories of the decade, but Gable Steveson might actually figure it out, just not in the place anyone expected.
That man
But
do got
while
some
Steveson
cases
was
on him,
released
though.
before
I ain't
he had
gonna
a
lie.
chance to make an impact, this next wrestler was handed opportunity after opportunity and still failed.
Oh man, Ken Kennedy.
No young prospect in SmackDown's mid-2000s roster
I'm
stood
not gonna
out
call
more
Kennedy
than
no
Mr.
flop,
Kennedy. The
though.
entrance, the charisma, the character, he had the whole
He was
package
a flop,
that most
yo.
wrestlers spend careers
He was
trying
a
to
flop,
manufacture.
man. I
Paul
ain't gonna
Heyman,
lie.
who oversaw
I just hate to
Kennedy
call
in
him that because I'm a
developmental,
ruthless
compared him to
aggression
The
guy.
Rock and Stone Cold.
So I don't
For a
really
hot
hate
minute
Mr. Kennedy,
in
bro.
2007, it felt like that might actually be real. And then came WrestleMania 23. Kennedy won the Money in the Bank ladder match, the golden ticket, the guaranteed
That boy
fast
did not
pass to a
cash in
world
that
title.
thing.
He was also reportedly in line to be revealed as Vince McMahon's
Son,
kayfabe illegitimate son, a storyline that would have put him in the middle of the biggest angle in the company. And then, within weeks, a triceps injury saw the briefcase transferred to Edge. The illegitimate son angle went to Hornswoggle, and the momentum derailed completely. Kennedy never recaptured that magic from 2007. By 2009, after an incident where Randy Orton complained to management that Kennedy had dropped him dangerously on his head and neck, the company pulled
Got
the
that
trigger
boy up
on
outta
his
here.
release. Just 4 days after he'd returned from injury,
They got
he
that
was
boy
gone.
out of
In
there.
TNA, he found a second act, winning the World Heavyweight Championship twice and carving out a...
Now listen, his TNA run was alright to me. He was still low-key annoying sometimes, like towards the end of this run. But in the TNA universe, he was a pretty good character. I can't lie. He was pretty good.
solid run. After that, he stepped back and opened the Academy Wrestling School in Minneapolis with Sean Daivari, pouring into the next generation what the industry
Yeah, I
had
be
given
seeing
him.
these clips
He made a
sometimes
surprise
on
one-off
Instagram of
return to
him
TNA
teaching
in September
teaching wrestling,
2025,
you know.
tagging in his Minneapolis hometown
Good for
to a
him,
warm
man. Good for
reception,
Mr.
and has
Anderson,
continued appearing on the independent and
Kennedy.
convention circuit since. These days, Ken Anderson is mostly out of the mainstream wrestling conversation, but his story remains that of a man who got right to the edge of immortality, blinked at the wrong moment, and had his name forgotten in wrestling history. And if you want to find out what happened to every forgotten WWE wrestler from the 2000s, check out this video next.
All right, y'all. Wow. Let's pause it. Let's pause it. Let's pause it. Let's pause it. I'm not trying to. Okay. Listen, y'all. I love y'all. That's it for this video. That was the biggest flops in WWE history. Hit that like button if you haven't yet, and comment your favorite part. I love y'all. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Peace.